Um, Hi everybody, I'm a little bit off my normal time. I promise we'll get back to that. But I wanted to share a few things with you. Howdy, 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 howdy. I've missed you all. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about a little bit today is, I've been having a lot of conversations in the last couple of weeks with entrepreneurs. Welcome everybody. I've had a couple of conversations with entrepreneurs about how do I tell my story and how do I do it in a way that inspires people. And in talking to some of these entrepreneurs, they've had real adversity in their lives. We all have. And we're told as marketers, don't make yourself the hero, make your customer the hero. This is true. You should be putting most of the focus when you're doing storytelling on your customer. However, here's an exception. When you've overcome adversity and you have something to share with your audience, I think it's okay to own your story. In fact, you should own your story. Who else, if not you, is qualified to tell your story? So how do you tell your story in a way that inspires rather than looking self-indulgent? So here's some tips. I think it really comes down to this. So for example, I was talking to an entrepreneur who's very successful who was told that he would never be a speaker because he was deeply introverted. And he was told by Toastmasters, you stink. Basically, you stink. And he was discouraged from one of the high-level certified speakers at Toastmasters, from pursuing a speaking career and told it's not for you. Now, he could have wallowed in self-pity. He didn't. One of the ways you connect with your audience is you allow them to see how it hurts you. Be vulnerable. Don't just talk about, well, I'll show him. I'm going to go on and be a great speaker. The audience wants to see how it affected you. Go into the interiority of your feelings. Be a little vulnerable and say, you know what, and that cut, that hurt. Allow people to see how it changed you and how it hurt you. Because we've all had somebody, I don't care who you are, every single person has always had, it's a universal story. There's somebody in your life who told you, you shouldn't do that, you can't do that, you're wrong, you'll never make it. There's somebody in everybody's life, I guarantee you this is a universal story, of somebody who instead of encouraging you, discouraged you. And we've all been there and we all know what that feels like. So a story that doesn't inspire is a story that says, well, I showed him, I'm going to go off. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to go off and I'm going to prove them wrong and I'm going to be great and look what I did. That's a very hollow story. Allow people to see that if somebody dissuaded you from following your dreams, that it hurt you. It's okay. You have feelings. You're a flesh bag. We're people. We're not robots. It's okay. People discouraged me. I remember being told, don't do this, don't do that. Comedy's not for you. It is for me. In fact, it's natural for me. I do a lot of comedy every week. I do improv. I do stand-up. I did a one-woman show last year. It's very natural for me. So it's okay to allow people to see that when people discourage you, that it hurts you. That's the humility part. Allow people into the world of your feelings. The second thing is to make sure that you're checking for connection with your audience. Has this ever happened to you? You know it has. Again, everybody's had somebody discourage them and not encourage their dreams. It's okay. Also allow people to see what you really want. What was the motivation? So my friend who decided to not listen to that Toastmasters guy and keep going, and now is a well-paid social media speaker, by the way, he wasn't driven and motivated by revenge or spite or any of that stuff. It's okay to have a little bit of that in your story because we all want to prove those people wrong. But what motivated him is, I asked him, I said, what really motivated you to keep going? And he said, Kathy, I just wanted to be seen. I wanted to be heard and I wanted to be seen. That's your why. Make sure in your story of overcoming adversity, it's very clear to the audience why it's important to you, because your audience is going to feel the same thing. They're going to say, I get that. Somebody tried to dissuade me and invalidated who I am, and I really want to be seen and validated for who I am. I want to be accepted for who I am. That's something that's really, really human. So all those things, allow people to see your feelings, make it very clear what motivated you. And if it's not about money, can't just be about money, it's got to be about something else. Allow people to see that vulnerability. And then finally, allow other people to share your story, or to, you don't have to take yourself so seriously. So for example, my friend does keynotes where he has his grandmother, he shows little clips of his grandmother. His grandmother is 103 years old, and he says, sometimes my grandma doesn't get my jokes. And he has this little video where he asks her, Grandma, why don't, people, laugh at my jokes and I get paid to give these keynotes. And she goes, well, honey, sometimes people do stupid things. And it's very funny where his own family still teases him. And that's okay, because what he's saying is, he's not this false braggadocious kind of guy. Look at me, I'm so great, I've made it now. I'm a big time social media speaker, and he does get paid well. But it's not a story with a boom mic drop in your face. It's a story that still has humility, because even though now he's successful, he still gets teased by his 103-year-old grandmother, and it's humbling. So your story doesn't have to be, and I showed them, and I rubbed it in their faces. It's got to be that journey of humility, and that we've all had those moments where even when we've succeeded and told we wouldn't succeed, and we did, we still have self-doubt. And that's okay to have the self-doubt. And it's also okay to show people maybe teasing you and poking fun a little bit, and that you're not perfect and you're not immune from being teased with that. So again, allow people to see your feelings, make it clear why you're motivated, and make sure that that motivation is something universal that people can see themselves in. And finally, don't take your journey so seriously. It doesn't have to be that a mic drop moment. It doesn't have to be this perfect ending, because a journey is never finished. It's okay to say, in that moment I felt like I succeeded, but I'm still evolving. And to show that your own family still teases you because they don't think you're that funny. And when you're 103, I think you have the right to basically say whatever you want, and nobody can give you crap about it, because you're 103. All right, so hopefully that helps, because I think it's really important. If you tell your story with humility, and you allow people to see themselves in that, that's how I felt, and somebody told me I couldn't do it, you are going to connect with people. It's not going to look so braggadocious. So don't be afraid to tell your story. Don't ever be afraid to be the hero in your own story. As long as it's done with an arc of humility, I think you're fine. So, all right, everybody, I will not be back probably till maybe Tuesday or Friday of next week. I'll be at Social Media Marketing World. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye. Love you back. Happy Friday.